Hey guys, what's going on? Professor here, and today I'm coming at you with another LEGO comparison video. Today I'm going to be comparing the two different LEGO Ninjago Samurai X mechs. The newer one on the left came out in late 2018 with all the other LEGO Ninjago Legacy sets. It was given set number 70665, has 154 pieces, sold for $15 here in the US and included 3 minifigures. And the older one on the right, which came out in 2012, was given set number 9448, has 452 pieces, and sold for $40 in the US, also with the 3 minifigures. So obviously right off the bat you can see that the one on the left, much smaller, but also much cheaper, but they do both include the same number of minifigures. So yeah, if you do end up enjoying this video, please hit that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. I'm doing all sorts of LEGO, Star Wars, and Ninjago content. I'm doing reviews, comparisons, and I'm starting to do some top 10s as well. And then leave a comment down below letting me know which one of these you prefer and if you have either one of these yourself. So with that all out of the way, let's get in the actual review itself. So I'll start off by showing off some of the minifigures. I'll start off with the minifigures from the older set. So this right here is the Samurai X from that older set on the right there, as you can see. It's a pretty simple minifigure here. This entire mask comes off all at once with this, this is like a dark gray color, like kind of samurai mask. It has this little like horn almost thing up here and then like the mask right there. The Nia here, or Samurai X minifigure, has 2 side face. This one is obviously a much more like angry face, and then over here is more of like just kind of content smirk almost. Now I'll take the head off, and then as you can see, this is like this dark gray armor, which is actually the same color as the helmet. And then I'll let you see that this minifigure does have some nice chest and leg printing, which actually flows together really nicely. It fits well. And then it also has some simple back printing also to just kind of hammer home that like fire element. Yeah, we'll put this back together. And then I'll show off the other 2 minifigures from this set. Both the other 2 minifigures from this set are actually snakes. This is one of the Constricti snakes. All the Constricti are like mini legs, so none of their legs move. But this one does have a very interesting head. This one's name, for whatever reason, I remember this specific snake's name, I'm pretty sure is Baitar. He has a really interesting like head mold, which kind of like has these nice fangs right here and then these spikes all the way down. His like the backside of his head is almost like about to form into a tail or something. But yeah, he does have some nice, if I actually take the head off, he does have some simple like scaly back printing, and then he also has some nice front chest printing as well. He also has some prints alongside the head mold there, and he's just holding one of the fang blades from the season. And then the last minifigure in the older set is this other snake here, which once again has the short legs. I don't remember this snake's name, but he's holding a mace. This one has an all gray head actually. So the head is not molded. This like piece up here can come off, but the head itself is just like the head. Some really nice printing there. The fangs, and you got a lot of scaly stuff going on. No back head printing, which is unfortunate, but I don't really know what they would have, what else they would have done. But I really do like this head piece that goes on there. There's a lot of printing on there. It kind of has like this little spear in the end with the gray, and then I didn't show it off, but he does have some back chest printing as well. Like I said earlier, he is holding the mace. So those are the 3 minifigures for the older set on the right. So now moving into the newer set. This is the new Samurai X that was included in the Ninjago Legacy set. As you can see, pretty much the exact same helmet. It's just a black helmet instead of dark gray. The other 2 pieces on it are actually the exact same. Obviously the head and like the face printings, once again, does have 2 face printings, but they are obviously very updated. They look much newer. This one is definitely much more of a smile, and then this one is an angry face, not nearly as frustrated as the other one, but something that I also do really like is on both of these faces, there's like a little mole right there on her face, which is a nice addition. Instead of using the dark gray or like black armor this time though, they did include like a sort of like red set of samurai armor, which I thought was interesting. But the printing on this Samurai X minifigure is much more detailed. Underneath, it also kind of continues on with the armor, as opposed to just kind of showing some more like generic printing. Like you can kind of see it has the fire emblem there in the middle, and then you can kind of see the like armored like printing on the actual minifigure itself. Also has some printing on like the toes there. And then on the back, there's much more detailed printing to go along with the armor once again. And then all this stuff goes on pretty easily. You just kind of slide that back on there. You'll put the head back on, and then the mask goes right back on, just like that. It looks almost the exact same as the original Samurai X minifigure, other than this red samurai armor, whereas the other one had the like darker gray. So going into the other minifigures, the newer Samurai Mech actually has 2 skeleton minifigures, which is interesting because the skeleton minifigures were actually not included, or the skeletons were actually not like the enemy in the season in which the Samurai X Mech showed up. But this one here is Cruncha. I actually have the older skeletons to compare these with, so I'll show them side by side. This is the new Cruncha, and then this is the old one here. So you can clearly see a big difference. The head mold is much smaller on the new one, and it just kind of comes with a helmet piece. This is actually the same sort of samurai helmet that's on the Samurai X for this set, whereas the older one just has this giant head mold. This like helmet right here is just molded into it, and it has the shoulder pads on there. The feet are a little bit different. This one kind of has like boots, whereas this one just has the skeleton feet. And then also, the old Cruncha has like the darker gray robes, whereas the new one has has the red one, which is interesting because the old Cruncha was like the earth skeleton. So I wonder if like they went with that and now he's fire. But I don't know. But I do very much like the newer detail thing that's on the newer Cruncha, as opposed to the older one, which is a lot more bulky and difficult to like move around and stuff. So the other skeleton included in this set is Knuckle, which I also have the older version of. Obviously, once again, the newer one on the right, you can see the spikes on the head. They used like the mohawk hairpiece and just made it blonde, which I thought was an interesting decision. I think they did a good job with the face. Once again, the head itself is smaller, but I do like how they included that like metal eye patch on there still. So the blue robes on both of them, and then the same kind of foot difference, and the newer Knuckle is holding a bone axe. So that's it for the minifigures of these 2 sets. I do think it was interesting that in the Legacy set, they included skeletons rather than snakes. But I do really like the newer skeletons. I think it's an interesting take, and I think it's interesting to see how the design has developed over the last like 6 to 7 years. But yeah, so with that out of the way, I'll get into the actual models themselves. I'll start with the smaller Samurai Mech on the left, obviously because that'll be easier. Not as much stuff going on. But yeah, as you can see here, the first thing right off the bat, this can actually move right down, and then what you do is you could put the Samurai X right in here. Samurai X, and this one actually just stands up. Oop, right on in there. And then you can put that right on up, and it secures it in there. If you want to make sure that's in there, you can move those down. But then the Samurai X can stay secured in there. These 2 things on the side, like these little flaps, can move up and down. And then there's a ton of mobility on the legs and arms. So the legs can move like right around here, but they can also, the feet themselves can also move. So there's a ton of different ways that you can set this up. Right by the Samurai Mechs up here, these 2 things are stud shooters. So those are up there. This little flag can move back and forth if you so choose. And then the arms, they have like this little armor thing right here. This can actually move slightly up and down. And then, like I said, the arms have a ton of movement. So everywhere you see this little like ball joint, it has mobility. So like I said, it can move right here. You could just move this arm piece right here, or you could just move like the hand piece with these 2 blades on it. There's a ton of mobility with this set, a ton of variations of ways that you could set it up. And that is the exact same on this side as well, with the multiple ball joints everywhere, except this side has a larger sword, and then this side just kind of had these 2 like little golden swords. This one has the larger sword. But yeah, overall, this is a much more simplistic model compared to the newer, or the older Samurai Mech that I'll show you here in a second. You'll definitely see that they scaled a lot of stuff down, but like I said earlier, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you're getting it for $15. I would have probably preferred to see this in a larger model, but for $15, you can't really argue with what you're getting. And then the newer one here, or the older one, excuse me, I keep saying that. The older one actually came with this, a little catapult thing for the snakes to jump into, and then you could launch them at the Samurai Mech, so that's what this is. This came with the older set. I honestly think this is kind of dumb. I think they probably should have just gotten rid of it, but it's in the set, so that's that. So I will put that off kind of to the side because no one cares about that. But this is the older Samurai Mech. It's going to be a little more difficult to get this one all in the frame. But yeah, there's a lot more mobility on this one. The arms move a lot easier. Similar to the other one, this one has these like larger flaps that can move up and down. But then the legs have all sorts of mobility. You can obviously move them side to side right there. And then the feet move on their own. But then you can also kind of like, there's so many ways to set it up. And I just love that so much. It's kind of difficult to show off right here. But yeah, there's just so many ways. Like you can see how intricate all this design is back here and everything to be able to get them, to be able to get it to move however you would like it to move around, which is something that I really do like. Now moving up, this one actually can rotate 360 degrees around at the waist. So for whatever reason, if you want to have it facing the back, but you want the legs to be moving, or you want the legs to be forward, you could do that. So yeah, that's something that I really do like as well. You have the complete mobility of like the body itself, so the entire thing doesn't have to rotate and look awkward. You could just move the top part without having to like watch out for the legs moving along with it. So right here, these things on the side also move. They don't really actually do anything though. Honestly, with this headpiece here, what you'll do is you can move this up and down. What I was going to say though is it does break apart, not often, but I do find myself having trouble moving it up and down occasionally. You could also move this down, and then a Samurai Mech, or Samurai X, excuse me, will sit right on in there. Like I said, they will sit in this one. The Samurai X does sit down. Samurai X does not stand up in this one, which is also something that I prefer. I think it just looks kind of weird with it standing up in there, but I don't know. Then you'll put that up and move that down, and then Samurai X is right in there. And can kind of see through this little like grate here. Moving up the model, you have this little flag here in the back. That's just similar to the flag that's on the other one. These little horn sort of things can move up and down. Nothing much to do with those. In this cannon, you can actually shoot something out. I don't have it in there obviously because you wouldn't be able to see it. But yeah, you'll put something in there, pull this back, and then you can shoot that out. So that's a nice little piece of playability. There's nothing you can actually like do with this. This is just, I guess, to simulate like a sort of like rocket being on there. But you could, you could take it off if you want to, but you can't like shoot it off in any way, which is unfortunate. But I do like that they added a little bit more detailing on there with that. And then obviously these like shoulder pads can move up and down to allow the arms to move up and down as well. And then the arms, it's difficult to see, but the arms can move like right by the like where the shoulder would be, but they could also move like where the elbow would be also. So I do like that, how they include the multiple places where you can rotate the arms and things like that. They have on one side here, it's just like the hand with the fingers. I really like how they executed this. On the newer one, there's nothing really like that. But yeah, you can just put anything in there if it wants to like pick up a snake or something like that and try to like throw it away. And then on the other side, the same sort of mobility with the arm, and it has the much larger sword. You can clearly see that because of the much larger model, it comes with the giant sword as opposed to the newer one, which comes with a much smaller sword compared to the one that is right there. But yeah, that's pretty much it overall for that model. Yeah, so ultimately, I definitely think that I prefer the older Samurai Mech. Obviously, it is a lot larger and it costs more, but I prefer the detail in it. I really wish they had made the Ninjago Legacy Samurai Mech not necessarily the exact same size, but just maybe a little larger, like a $25 set or something like that, and just added a little bit more detail to it. I don't need any more minifigures in the set. Both of them come with 3, which I think is an appropriate amount. But yeah, overall, I'd definitely say that the older Samurai Mech is better. I'd probably give that one like 8 out of 10. I really think that's a solid model. And then the smaller one, 6 out of 10. Just, I don't really know. It just rubs me the wrong way with how LEGO handled it. I've been saying this the entire video. I really wish they just made a larger model. But yeah, that'll pretty much be it for this video. So if you did enjoy, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing down below. Let me know which one of these you think is better. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.